Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of the Overdrive Files. We have a few DC topics to get into. First up is Gareth Evans talking about the what would have been Deathstroke movie starring Joe Manganiello. Out of everything, I don't know if I want to say out of everything, but like what I was really looking forward to with the Ben Affleck Batman movie, I would have loved to see Ben Affleck's version of Batman go toe-to-toe with Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke. The moment we saw that test footage of like Ben Affleck, with his cell phone shooting some test footage while they were shooting Justice League, I was extremely excited. And then, when all the stuff with Matt Reeves taking over, there was just a part of me that was like, my God, I hope and pray that they keep Joe Manganiello's version of Deathstroke in some form in Matt Reeves' Batman movie. And it's just like everything just crumbled. We got Deathstroke as a post-credit scene at the end of Justice League. That's probably the best part about that entire movie is the post-credit scene. I'm pretty sure Zack Snyder shot all of that in Morocco. I think this image down here at the bottom right, I think that's from Zack Snyder's Vero. But man, do I wish we would have gotten a Deathstroke. I mean, not even just a solo movie, but just in some form as a villain in, the Batman. I was just extremely looking forward to that, and just unfortunately, we didn't get any of that. But Gareth Evans, in an interview here, he did touch on what his movie sort of would have been in a perfect world, what we would have really gotten. So down here, there's some quotes here, but let's see here. Okay, so while Manganiello was still optimistic that Deathstroke would come to pass back in 2018, it was only a few months later that Evans revealed things had stalled. Since then, the DCEU has started to move in a new direction. Obviously, we can all see that with Birds of Prey and all Shazam, all this stuff. With movies less focused on connecting to a broader universe. Last year's Joker seemed to highlight Warner Brothers' interest in developing DC movies not set within the DCEU. Though it is still producing several films attached to the franchise, Deathstroke is one of many DC films to have fallen by the wayside on the development slate, with others being Gotham City Sirens and Green Lantern Corps, Cyborg. I mean, there's 7 or 8 of these movies that have fallen to the wayside. But while speaking with Yahoo Movies UK, Evans said he was quite enthused and excited when he was initially attached to direct Deathstroke, and he conducted a fair amount of research during that time. Evans' plan was to tell a lean story that would be kind of an origin of that character, something that felt like it could be 100 minutes or 110 minutes long max, not to go over the 2-hour period with it. Considering how some moviegoers complain about unnecessarily long films, this likely would have been a well-received plan. That's not necessarily the case for a lot of movies. I mean, recently, look at movies like Lord of the Rings. Okay, I have to mention it, but Avengers Endgame, 3 hours long, most or I guess largest box office to date. Aside from the point, I don't think that's necessarily the case for all movies. But anyway, Evans went on to say that he was influenced by South Korean noir films, and he would have tried to implement that style into Deathstroke. As he explained, I was like, these films are amazing. The texture and the tones of colors, the grit and the aggression of them is super interesting to use to tell Deathstroke's story. This matches up with Evans' previous comments regarding the film. The origin story aspect would likely place Evans' Deathstroke ahead of Justice League in the DCEU timeline, since the character's appearance in the post-credit scene already had him as an established mercenary. The DCEU will continue with new solo films centered on Wonder Woman, Aquaman, but it's unclear how connected their future installments will be. While Eisenberg previously said he would be open to returning as Lex, it seems unlikely at the present moment that he will, suggesting any plans for a Legion of Doom film are dead. Of course, that would always change, or that could always change should Warner Brothers and DC decide to revisit it, but Evans' comments on the matter make it seem like Deathstroke will never come to fruition. I honestly don't think we'll probably see Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke in a future DCE movie. You know, it really, it's just a massive bummer. And I thought Joe Manganiello is like, I don't want to say he's like the perfect Deathstroke, but I was really looking forward to seeing this guy. You know, the most we got to see him do was what? Drive a cigarette boat in Morocco and break Lex Luthor out of prison, which we didn't really see. But anyway, it's just a massive disappointment all around. And you know, just getting a little bit of a taste of what this movie was going to be. And Gareth Evans, obviously, you know, he comes from an incredible sort of style, you know, using martial arts. The Raid films are, you know, some of the most incredible recent martial arts movies that I've seen in like the last, I don't know, 10 years or so at this point. They're not that old. But I thought he was an incredible choice to choose for like a Deathstroke movie. And even though he doesn't have in this interview here, he also mentions that he doesn't come from like being a massive superhero fan. And I don't think you really have to be, but just, you know, appreciate and enjoy the material and, you know, hopefully put a cool spin on it. But anyway, moving on to a little bit of Wonder Woman stuff here. Not a reboot. So Patty Jenkins was interviewed by Total Film. There's a new image here. Looks like they're in the Middle East somewhere. Diana Prince accepting a phone call. Was it a collect call? I'm not really sure. But while talking to Total Film, Jenkins described Wonder Woman 1984 as a very different movie than the first installment. This is its own standalone story. That, of course, is also a continuation of our characters and their linear line. It's just its own movie with its own very different feel. This will likely excite fans who are eager to see how Diana has changed since her time in World War I. While Diana has been seen in present day in movies like Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Justice League, those films didn't explore her character as thoroughly as her solo film did. So this is its own standalone story that, of course, is a continuation of our characters and their linear line. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what the first Wonder Woman did. And it was pretty much bookended. You know, there was, she was, you know, delivered the photo from Bruce Wayne. And I thought that was a great tie-in. But I think what a lot of fans are kind of, they don't want the previous films, or I mean, Batman v Superman is still in the future. So it would still be nice to get, as well as like Man of Steel and I don't know, Aquaman, if they're able to still like put, or I guess like plant little seeds that connect to those future movies. I'm not sure if that's what they're planning to do, but I mean, being that both of these Wonder Woman movies have taken place in the past, it's almost like, well, they chose to do that because they didn't want to really have to be beholden to what's set in the future. And I think if you're going to do a third Wonder Woman movie, which they plan on doing, Patty Jenkins, you know, talks about it in this next article we'll get to in a sec, but like, if you're going to do a third Wonder Woman, you got to do it in the future, I think, or the present day. You know, it's just like, it's almost like kind of gimmicky at this point, like, especially with it being taking place in the 80s. And, you know, it's almost getting annoying with how much like 80s, like nostalgia is just thrown in our face. And I think I may have commented on this before, but like everything I've sort of seen from Wonder Woman 1984, it feels like it was shot for a makeup commercial, you know, like maybe it's Maybelline. Like it just has that like glittery glamour look, and that's probably what they're going for. But I don't know. It's just it's starting to feel gimmicky, and I feel like if they did like a Wonder Woman movie that took place in like the 90s, I would just be checked out at that point. But Patty Jenkins here, she does get into sort of plans for Wonder Woman 3 as well as an Amazon spin-off movie. Let's find the quote here. Okay, so I think this may have been from the Total Film magazine via Games Radar. She gets into this about a Wonder Woman 3 and Amazon movie. Here's her quote. I'm not going to nail down a fresh thought about it until this movie comes out because I kind of want to give myself a palate cleanser and be fresh of mind. But yeah, there's an arc that I have in mind for the first movie, and then the second movie, and then the Amazon movie, and then the third movie. So I think we had maybe heard a little bit of news about the Amazonian movie, and I honestly think that could be something cool. I'm fine with that taking place like thousands of years ago. Like if they could, I don't know, that war sequence we saw in Justice League with Steppenwolf, which Zack Snyder's sort of concept art or previs, that those images that we've seen, it almost looks like it was Darkseid that was supposed to be there. If we could see something like that with the Amazonians, I think that would be awesome. I'm not really sure what you would do as far as like the villain or story with these characters, but they seem to have some sort of idea and plan in place with these characters. But like, those are the type of characters that I want to see in the past with like Connie Nielsen and, like seeing Hippolyta and Robin Wright's character, in an epic kind of like war movie. I think that could be really cool. I think that's something that warrants being set in the past. The first Wonder Woman movie was fine being in World War I, but let's put Wonder Woman present day. I don't know. But anyways, guys, that's sort of it for this episode. Not a ton of movie news to really get into as far as the DC realm of things, but please make sure to let me know your thoughts down below in the comment box. Hit that like button and subscribe for future videos. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rex Overdrive. I'll see you next time.